sent checks directly to the other people. Those are
Instead of dynamite bank.
what happens is the auditors look at those, these are the money right in the account. I put the $48,000 on there. We didn't get all that because he sent those donations directly to those clubs.
Speech was 2,500.
I put in the minutes that it mentioned it, I believe. Did I specify the minutes?
I'm not concerned about it. I'm just worried about it.
Well, it's in the minutes.
What's the worst subject? How are you guys? Are you ready? You ready? By the way, I just got real fault there. In the absence of President Adrian Sturm, I would like to call this meeting to order at 6:31 on October 17th, 2012. May I have a roll call, please, Mrs. Kestner?
Mrs. Sturm, President. Mr. Olson, Vice President.
Present.
Mr. Bova.
Here.
Mr. Fry.
Present.
Mr. Keshner.
Here. Please rise and join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, moving right into business. Mr. Jordan, would you like to address the first issue, please?
Yes, sir, I would like to. As required by law, at this time we are offering public input on the issue of the reemployment of Patty Kestner, treasurer. So if there's any public discussion, now's the time to have it happen.
Any comments? Yes, ma'am.
I think Mrs. Kestner does an excellent job for Canfield School.
Thank you, Mrs. Maury. Yes, mister.
It's a pleasure to work with them.
Oh, okay. I think we all feel the same way, so. With no negative comments.
Another comment,
Mr.
Mr. Vice President.
Thank you.
Belated birthday.
Ah, yes. Is it appropriate for us to sing to you? Oh, okay. Well, thought I'd check.
I think that's...
Okay.
Thank you for all the offerings, and we'll close it at this time.
I appreciate that. Yes. I hear no negative comments, which is a good thing, so thank you, Mr. Jordan. The next issue is principals' reports. Do you all have any?
We all do.
Start with the high school. I know you're excited to kick us off.
Could you maybe do the others first when we fold up some brochures?
Don't remember that. Okay, Mr. Lavery, would you like to...
Absolutely. First of all, just to touch base a little bit more on third grade students, we've been talking about the third grade reading guarantee a little bit. Our third grade students just recently took the fall OAA assessment, and C.H. Campbell is happy to report that we actually had perfect attendance on that day. We had some parents that even took the test so seriously as to postpone vacations to make sure that their kids were there to take the test on that day. So our community needs to be commended for that. In addition to that, we have our annual cookie dough fundraiser that just wrapped up, and this year we were giving away penguins, which were a huge hit with the kids. But based on preliminary data of just basically how many penguins we've given away, it looks like we're going to have even stronger sales this year than with what we've had in the past. And if you remember last year, we made over $22,000. So all that money is going to go towards technology in the school, which is definitely needed. The kids, some of the bonuses that they get, they will get an inflatable party for selling all that cookie dough. They also will get a limo lunch for students that sold enough. And that's always a big deal for those kids, the chance to go in a limo to go have lunch. So definitely a good thing. We have a Jump Rope for Heart campaign that is kicking off, and our fourth graders are very excited to show off their jump roping skills that they've been mastering over the past 5 years at C.H. Campbell. And if you have a chance, feel free to swing by. That's on Friday at about 2 o'clock. From there, we also have our Halloween parties. If you would like to come and see some of the parades or the parties kick off at 1:15 on Friday the 26th, parade at 2:15. So those are some good opportunities to see all of our kids. They get very, very excited about those Halloween parties. Parent communication, both Hilltop and CH both had informational meetings with parents about the third grade reading guarantee. Any parents that were sent home a letter letting them know that their children were currently reading below grade level were given the option to come in and learn a little bit more about that and what it's going to mean for their specific children, because it's different depending on what grade level the kids may be in. And I think a lot of our parents really needed that information to put their minds at ease that it's a process and it's not just one test one day deciding whether their kids are going to move on or not. So they were definitely very happy about that. Community involvement, we had Fire Safety Day at CH, and the Cardinal Joint Fire District came by with their fire truck, which is always a big deal for our students, to teach our kids about fire safety, and that went off very well. Under staff development, we had a few different opportunities for our staff to get some professional development. The first big one was NEOEA Day. During NEOEA Day, teachers had the opportunity to go and get the professional development that they felt they needed. PD that was tailored to their specific needs. Some of them went to Mixed Tech, which is a technology and education conference, and learned a lot about some of the possible resources that are out there for them to be using in their classrooms. Some of the other teachers chose to stay in district and went to progress book training to make sure that any questions that they could have had a chance to be answered. So that went very well. The other thing that we had, Mrs. Mowry and I just had a joint faculty meeting between both elementary schools. So all of our faculties came together and we're basically focusing on developing learning targets and taking a look at some of the assessments that they're going to put into place to reach those learning targets. Basically looking at the new standards and how we're going to make sure that our kids are learning what they need to learn. Thank you.
Mr. Lavery, thank you. I guess we should allow more than 2 minutes for each principal. We'll adjust that accordingly.
I thought it sounded bad. I'm ready.
All right. Take us off.
It's going great at Hilltop. I'm excited to report we too did well on our OAAs, and we too had 100%, and we did make our value added again this year. So congratulations to the team at Hilltop. We had our red carpet reading program. That is where the kids read at home, and we have all our reading celebrities, and they don the red carpet, and paparazzi comes in and snaps their pictures, and it's wonderful. Our goal is to have 100% by January. They have to commit to reading 1/2 hour every night, and they come in and they have to bring evidence that they read. Our school, the teachers, the students, the parents, everybody on staff has all agreed that we would like to continue our goal from last year and continue to work on creating a bully-free school. The kids have now purchased the shirts that you've seen the staff wear that say Hilltop, we can be bully-free. We are having our Halloween parade, and the good thing for you is you can come to our parade because it's earlier than CH, and then you could just go right to CH. The fun will never end. We have our STEM week coming up.
What time is that, by the way?
Ours starts at 1:50, and then we have our parties. So we'll be outside, weather permitting. You don't even have to get out of the car. You could just kind of hang out and watch. Our STEM week is coming up. It will be the last 3 days in October, first 2 days in November. And if anybody wants to come, I do have a formal invitation for you all that I will present to Mr. Jordan later on. But we will have hands-on. It is our version of COSI. The children will go through the day, hands-on activities. Every class gets an hour. There are learning targets. It's matched to our curriculum. There are extension activities. The teachers had input, the parents had input, and the kids had input. And it is going to be a great week. We're really excited. As Mr. Lavery said, we're working together, the two buildings, and we really want to work on those assessment pieces to make sure we're assessing with rigor and we're able to use that data. I want to congratulate the staff. We are an energy certified school, and we'll be celebrating that on Tuesday, the 23rd. And we had our first staff development with Mr. Malich, and he did technology, and the teachers were very, very excited to learn everything they could do with their web pages so they could improve them. Thank you for listening, and I think I kept it at 2 minutes.
Thank you. Hey, by the way, did you do the cookie dough, or is that just
We did do the cookie dough. Ours was a great success. In fact, we're just now spending the money we got last year. We'll have student response systems for our 3rd and 4th grade to expand our technology. Set of iPads for 1st and 2nd, and kindergarten got new playground equipment. We plan on switching that next year and continuing to expand our playground.
Thank you. Mrs. Hostetler?
Middle school, you're doing it together?
Yes,
All right. And Mr. Maroney?
I'll start with report cards. And the first grading period is Friday, November 2nd. Report cards will be sent home with students the following Friday, which is the 9th. 5th and 6th grade parent-teacher conferences are quickly approaching. November 15th from 3 to 9 p.m. 7th and 8th grade conferences are Monday, November 19th from 3 to 9 p.m. Mara Banfield from the ESC will be coming in to provide professional development and value-added data to help our staff determine how we can use that data to better our instruction and to further student achievement. Race to the top teams have broken into assurance areas. Assurance area B and C have met. B deals with standards and assessment, and C deals with curriculum and formative instructional practices. Peg Flynn from the green team is coming to visit our school. She is going to go through the life cycle of a tomato, which seems silly, but it actually covers quite a few life science standards and discussing how the different roles of the organisms in the ecosystem. And to spin off of them, we do have a Halloween day. It's not a parade. I'm sure it'll provide lots of entertainment if you'd like to come and see the costumes. It's actually on Halloween. The kids will be coming in full costume. Thanks.
Go ahead.
Nope. Question?
After you.
Okay. Our fall sports teams are wrapping up very successful season. Our football team had a game tonight at Howland. I do not know the result of that game as of yet. Our final game is next Thursday, October 25th, against Hubbard. That will be played at Canfield High School Stadium at 5 o'clock. Our cross-country team completed their season on Saturday at the Sim Eric Invitational at the Trumbull County Fairgrounds and had several runners perform very well. Volleyball team concluded their season in the AAC Championship Tournament. Congratulations to our 8th grade team who won the AAC last night by defeating Poland and finishing their season undefeated at 20 wins and 0 losses. So congratulations to those young ladies. We now automatically start gearing up for basketball season. All of our coaches are holding meetings to meet with the students who are going to try out for basketball. Those meetings are ongoing, and wrestling is also starting up at this time. As far as curriculum, teacher leaders will be meeting with areas in their, or teachers in their content area to discuss the new Common Core state standards, focusing on the transition from the current standards to the new standards, how those line up, and what we need to transition to over the next couple of years. On NEOEA Day, I met with several of our teachers that stayed in-house for that day, and one of the main concerns that they had was the number of kids that they had concerns about and where they were going to have the time and the resources to meet with those kids. Well, we found some time during the day where they could do that, but they were still concerned with 2 teachers, 3 teachers, and the number of kids they were concerned about. How could we better service kids? And the idea came out that we could call YSU. So we called YSU, and we're going to partner with them to get some of their early education students in to work with our kids in the area of reading and math. And I've talked to representatives from YSU. They're very excited because a lot of the students at YSU do not have contacts in local schools to get the tutoring hours, and so this gives them a connection to a school, and it's going to help our kids in the areas of reading and math. Yesterday, our 7th grade students went to the zoo, and we successfully brought everyone back home, which is always a plus. They had a great day, and they had it was all tied to the curriculum, and it was a very successful day. We'll be holding a Veterans Day Assembly on Friday, November 9th at 9 a.m. That's coordinated by Mr. Mike Kerensky. And lastly, our web program, our 8th graders had lunch with their 5th grade counterparts on October 11th. The tables were all decorated, and the kids did a really nice job reconnecting with their kids from the summer in service, and it was a really good time for all the kids. So again, thank you for having us tonight. You had a question.
Just one question. With you beginning year 2 and you beginning year 1, and you've had, 6 or 7 weeks under your belt, how's it going? I saw no police reports, nothing so far.
We're all good.
Good.
Fast and fabulous.
Your transition has been good then?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. Gentlemen, CHS.
Thanks for having us tonight. I'm excited to be here. Thank you. The first thing we did have an open house on September 20th. It was traditional. We ran the same program that we've run. It's been very successful. I think 2 things that really helped is that we did use Center Voice to call all our parents, which was a big help. to remind them when it was and when they had to show up. We also tweeted out. We're big tweeters at the high school. We tweeted out about the open house, so that was very good. September 29th, we had our homecoming dance. Things went well, which is a good thing. We did enter from the different sides. We used to enter from the front of the school. We're now entering from the gym foyer, and the reason why we're doing that is because sometimes the weather's bad, and if the kids, we breathalyze the kids so they can come indoors, and it works out very well, so we're happy about that. Monday, October 8th, we met with the Student Senate, and Mr. Tullio is going to give you a handout. I don't know how many of you know that we do have a Student Senate, a group of students. It varies from year to year. I think we have, 14 this year? Somewhere in that range. We meet with them in the morning at 7 o'clock. We do this about 3 times a year just to listen to their concerns, make them a part of it. We get feedback from them, ask them questions about how things are going, what we can do to improve. And I've always felt that our students students are a resource that we really need to look at and talk to when we make decisions. They're the ones who, receive the instructions, so to leave them out, we're really missing some good information there. So we're happy about that. We're having the famous Halloween dress-up day on Halloween. I am so excited. You're all welcome to come to the building on that day if you wish. Our kids are so inventive. You'll see some of the craziest things. If you go on our website, Don George posts all the pictures. You'll see the best in the categories, and it's really pretty cool. It's a cool thing to do. Very exciting, Beauty and the Beast is our fall musical. It's actually going to be held on 2 weekends, November 9th and 10th, 16th and 17th. It's a huge undertaking. It's a huge production, but it's a very popular musical. It's wonderful, and I've seen it done at other schools, and we're very, very excited about that. And big kudos go out to Dr. H. and her staff, because they do a ton of work. There's a ton of work involved in that. But that's very, very exciting, so we would invite all of you to come and see Beauty and the Beast. It's really pretty cool. And a really exciting thing, the last thing I'm going to talk about, is we have a JETS Club, Junior Engineering Technology Society. We've had it for years. Don Crum is our JETS Club advisor, and he came to us with an idea of a project, and the project is to compete in the robotics competition at the University of Pittsburgh. He is in the process of writing a grant from NASA that would cover the cost of the first year's entrance fee and the actual robots. His group of parents are fundraising to put together money for transportation. There's 2 great things about this. Robotics is a wonderful, wonderful technology competition that we are now going to be involved in, and it will not cost the district any money, which is a very, very good thing. So we're very excited about the JETS Club entering into the robotics competition.
Thank you. There's a little madness why I'm going last. He used all the 2 minutes, so I don't have to say anything. Right? I tried. Okay, we're going to have our annual bonfire tomorrow night at the high school. Usually it's the 10th game, the Poland game, but unfortunately Poland, we played them the 5th week this year, so Coach Pav wanted to have it this Thursday. Hopefully the weather holds out for us. Today at our school we had the PSAT. We gave the PSAT exam, and basically the National Merit semifinalists are selected from this group, from this exam. In the past, it was given on Saturdays. And what we had in the past, students, some of them wouldn't sign up because they had athletic events, they had different things going on the weekend, or if they did sign up, they didn't show up because they had to practice or whatever. Today, we had approximately 90 students. They were there on time. In fact, they were there early. They made sure they were there early today, and at least almost 90 students took that test today. And we hope to increase that number in the future, though. Let's see, the fall administration of the OGT will take place October 22nd through the 26th, and that's for the students who have not yet passed all sections of the OGT. It's the juniors and seniors. staff has been providing some additional intervention for some of those students to help them get through that. We have a very special honor, and we hope to bring her here possibly next board meeting. Marissa DeSanto, who you met last spring. She earned a national medal in the 2012 Scholastic Arts Program, and I know you honored her last year. But in addition to that honor, her work was selected by the U.S. Department of Education to be included in the Art Right Now DC project. And this is a special project where 63 pieces of work were selected. Out of those 1,200 pieces, students that were given awards in the spring, 63 pieces were selected. And she was one individual. Her art piece was selected to hang in the U.S. Department of Education the remainder of the year. And they went down on Friday. Mr. Hoops, the art teacher, took his family and met her down there in Washington, D.C., and she received the award down there. And it was really a nice day for her. So we're really excited about that. And for Canfield, what an honor to have a student's piece of work hanging in the Department of Education. The last thing I'm going to just briefly mention, and Mike's going to pass that out, there's a brochure that, with the help of Mary Jean Polkovich, retired teacher, we have to give her a lot of kudos for this. She stepped up to bat. She put together a pamphlet, and this pamphlet, this is just one pamphlet that, and it talks about our advanced placement program, our AP classes, and the college and high school program at Canfield High School. And what we'd like to do is reproduce these. We'd like to get them out into the community. If we send letters out to parents and talking to them about Canfield High School, we want to stick one in the envelopes so that the parents know exactly what we're offering at the high school. So it's a great piece of communication. It's a publication. Again, Mary Jean did an excellent job with it, and we're really proud to have that. We're going to have to come up with some money to print it because in color they are a little expensive as we go through it. So, thank you.
Question, though.
Yes.
Regarding OJT tests.
Yes, sir.
I know there are not a whole lot of students that haven't passed them, but what particular area is giving you trouble?
Science is the most difficult. Science is always the most difficult.
So if I may, science, you have to have math skills, but also reading skills. It's the one area that really kind of crosses over in the two different areas.
But we only have about 12 students.
From science?
Out of 235.
Gentlemen, thank you. Any questions for any of the principals? I can check that off and get no more questions.
This is going out, though?
John?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great work. Thank you. The next is presentation of the minutes, as is the policy of this board. The minutes are made public through the website, so we will pass on the reading of that and move to the treasurer's reports.
We need a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. Anybody like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Comments? All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Mr. Bova?
Yes.
Mr. Fry?
Yes.
Mr. Kestner?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes. Thank you. Now we can move on to, I'm new at this, so bear with me. Treasurer's reports. Does this include the happy birthday?
No, it does not.
Did you work on your birthday?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I'm going to skip the financial report by fund unless anybody has a question. Nothing really comment on that. Appropriation report, I would like to comment on the last page. We're about a fourth of the way through the year, 25%. You'll see we're almost at 30%. The percentages there, but some items we've encumbered for the whole year. This is not unusual at this time, so these percentages are reasonable. I don't anticipate a problem going forward. The check register, two items I'd like to point out, page one, the fifth item down, last box, network services for $19,000. This is our annual phone system maintenance. You might recognize it from prior years. And on the last page, page 6, about halfway through that list, Dearborn National for $16,000. It's our annual life insurance premium for all employees for the entire year. Any questions on any checks that were written? Purchase order list. First 6 pages are what we call the annual purchase orders. They're set up for the entire year, and we just pay down on those. So there's a lot of those have a lot of high balances, as they are for the whole year. New items you haven't seen, starts at the bottom of page 9. We don't have any to comment on, just start up school materials and so forth. Any questions on any purchase orders? And the investment holdings look very similar as you saw last month. I would like to comment the last 3 items there. I'm working on combining some of those older endowment CDs as they mature, so I can combine them with those larger CDs and take advantage of the higher rates. So you'll notice the Farragher CD has already dropped off. It is combined in with those others, and as the year progresses, I'll be getting rid of those other 3 too. That might help those funds a little bit. And if there's no questions, we do need a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All right. Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Mr. Bova?
Yes.
Mr. Fry?
Yes.
Mr. Kestner?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes. Okay, this is the time for public comments. Has anybody signed up?
Jeff Barone.
Jeff, would you like to address the board?
Mr. Olson, thank you.
You're welcome.
I wrote myself a couple notes today. Mr. Jordan mentioned something about drug abuse issues at last month's meeting, and I just wondered if we had a drug awareness program in place. And before we comment, I'd just like to finish my thoughts. Police department programs are very beneficial to our schools, and they are greatly appreciated. However, I feel as a society and a community, we all owe more to our young adolescents. Those students who are at that age where curiosity and peer pressure are at their highest, they need someone they can relate to. I think someone needs to be in their shoes and understand the challenges that they face in today's society. Obviously, I think you know I like to talk. I have a passion for it. I'm just here to let you know that I don't have any fancy initials under my name. I'm a union pipe fitter, and I'm proud of what I do. I'm a father, and I'm a caring citizen. And I'm volunteering my help, no matter what I need to do to relate to these children, or get to relate to these children, to see the light. And if there's anything I could do, I'll be more than happy to do it voluntarily, no matter what time of the day it is. I'm willing to give up my work for a day, a few hours, whatever it takes to make a difference. That's what I want to do in life. I'm passionate about it. And drug abuse has no boundaries. It doesn't matter what kind of grades you get in school. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter what race you are. It does not care. And I don't know what kind of problem it is here in Canfield, but I'm sure everybody in this room can relate one way or another, whether it be friends or family, that it is affected. And I don't want to see it being ignored. There are many great things that go on in this school system, and it's great to come to these meetings and hear from the principals at all the schools and the reports of the superintendent and how great things are. And it's great to hear good news all the time, but we all know the reality. And I'd just like to offer my help or my assistance in any way I can if needed. Thank you.
Jeff, thank you. Would you like to make a comment about the drug enforcement?
Sure. We do have diversion opportunity for youngsters in middle school and high school. We have some programs going on currently, but we need to enlarge that. We need to increase that participation. continued conversation with local safety forces in Canfield is continuing to happen, and we're trying to create not necessarily a program during the day, but after hours as well. And that could be an opportunity for you, sir, to definitely get involved in that, and other participants that way, volunteer-wise. So when that time comes that we ask for those volunteers, we'll definitely put you at the top of the list to get involved, because not only in-house folks, but our local individuals, our community members, they do need to get involved, because there's a lot of offerings out there for them to get involved that way. So, yes, we'll definitely ask for your help. Thank you for offering.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. Jeff, thank you for your comments. Okay, we'll move on to new business. Would you like to address the personnel?
Be happy to, Mr. Olson. I'd like to recommend to accept the request for parental leave from a licensed employee, Kara Mikulich, and she is asking for 6 weeks unpaid parental leave following the use of sick leave for a total of 12 weeks absence, beginning approximately November 26, 2012.
Okay, do we need a motion for each one?
Yes.
Thank you. I must be the only one that hasn't done this.
If you would like me to bundle them, we can.
Why don't we bundle them the way you see fit?
Sure. Also like to recommend to accept the resignation of a licensed employee, Candace Cleveland, drama grades 5-6, effective 2012-13 school year.
Question here.
Yes.
We're talking about drama advisor, we're talking about a teacher.
It's an advisory position, it's supplemental.
So she's just resigning her advisory.
Yes. Okay, also like to recommend to accept the resignation of George Chichak, and that he is a bus driver effective October 31st, 2012. Also like to recommend for hiring classified employees, Dolores Sullivan, van aid, approximately 2.5 hours per day, $12.81 per hour, effective October 18th, 2012. Also, Karen Bausch, van driver, approximately 2.5 hours per day, $16.45 per hour, effective October 18, 2012. Cheryl DeSelm, bus driver, at $11,919.38 to be prorated, effective October 18, 2012. So we will bundle those. Recommendation?
At the recommendation of the superintendent, I would like to entertain a motion regarding the parental leave request, the resignations, and the hiring of both licensed and classified employees.
So moved.
As noted. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bova?
Yes.
Mr. Frye?
Yes.
Mr. Kessler?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Also recommending for hire the following extracurricular as per enclosed schedule. 8th grade girls basketball coach Jackie Blista, $3,741. Lead mentor Shelby Sigler, $1,020. We'll go with those at this point since they're in-district licensed extracurricular.
The recommendation of the superintendent, I would entertain a motion to hire in-district licensed extracurricular for Glista and Sigler.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please. Or questions, comments? Roll call?
Mr. Bova?
Yes.
Mr. Frye?
Yes.
Mr. Kessler?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
And then we do have one non-licensed extracurricular resolution, 8-2013, drama 5-6, Kathy Palumbo at $680.
The recommendation of Mr. Jordan, I would entertain a motion to hire for drama 5th to 6th, Kathy Palumbo. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Roll call?
Mr. Bova?
Yes.
Mr. Frye?
Yes.
Mr. Kessler?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
We do have a first reading of policies, and we have those presented to you. We have some new, we have some revised. We are deleting some there for you, and this is just the first reading on these policies.
I would like to just, before we have a motion, I know that Mr. Bobo was intimately involved in exploring this for hours of his time. Do you have any comments about any of these I know most of it has to do with updating, but do you have anything you want to bring anybody's attention to?
No, it was, I think that everyone should know that we have a person who comes in and recommends these things to us and suggests revision as we need them. And we went along with most of what he said, and some of the things didn't fit our school system, so we didn't make any changes or revise or add. And everything here we talked at great length about.
Thank you. I don't know whether anybody out here has these, but we are talking about approximately 10 to 15 adjustments in our Neola policies. And upon the recommendation of the superintendent, I would ask for a motion to accept these policy changes.
So moved.
Second.
You need, if it's just first reading, it's just first reading.
Yes.
So you don't accept them. You need a second
Well, what
reading.
if I want to?
Sorry. You need a second reading.
Okay. Why don't we pass on that and hang on to it till the second reading?
We'll move to number
That's
3.
How am I doing so far?
So far,
Thank
so
you.
good.
Okay.
Well, we still make a motion to approve the first reading.
Oh, do you?
policy.
You have to have a
But
motion.
they don't become policy until.
Okay, never mind.
That's
I was
exactly
wrong.
what I did.
I was wrong.
Okay, noted. Questions or comments besides Mrs. Kestner?
First reading.
Yes,
To approve the first reading.
exactly, thank you.
So we can have a.
Roll call.
Mr. Bowden?
Yes.
Mr. Fry?
Yes.
Mr. Kestner?
Yep.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
It's also recommended to adopt Resolution 7-2013 declaring transportation impractical to the listed schools that we have for you.
And those schools would be Akiva Academy, Heartland Christian, Holy Family School, Molly Kessler School, Montessori, St. Joseph and Immaculate Heart, St. Paul School, and Youngstown Christian School. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, I would entertain a motion to accept the following resolution, number 7-2013.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
Is this something we do every year? Okay, just wondered. It's state law, isn't it?
I'm not sure you're aware. I believe, Patty, if you want to address it, we're obligated to provide a cost to the families for transportation. We do not.
Yes, if we don't provide it and declare it impractical, then they can sign a contract where we will pay them at the end of the year the average cost to transport a student in the state of Ohio, and we are reimbursed by the state for that amount. It's usually about $170.
And let me remind everyone, if you looked at this does not include any high school grades. It is only up through grade 8. Since we offer no transportation to our own high school, then we do not reimburse anybody from the high school level. Okay, did we have, okay, thank you, roll call, please.
Mr. Bova?
Yes.
Mr. Fry?
Yes.
Mr. Kestner?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
We do have, would like to approve the following out-of-state overnight field trips. First off, Canfield High School Speech and Debate Team, Thursday, January 10 through Saturday, January 12, 2013, to Sylvania, Ohio, in order to participate in an international speech and debate tournament. Providing transportation and lodging are covered by outside organization. And then also Canfield High School baseball team is going down to Myrtle Beach, March 29 through April 6th. In order to participate in a baseball tournament, providing transportation and lodging are covered by outside organization.
On the recommendation of the superintendent, I would ask for a motion approving the 2 out-of-state trips for the high school speech and debate team and the high school basketball team as noted. Baseball.
So moved.
Thank you. Second. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bova?
Yes.
Mr. Fry?
Yes.
Mr. Kestner?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes, thank you.
Also would like to approve a request for a student to complete his senior year at Canfield High School.
Do
Don't we have a bunch of seniors completing their senior year?
Well, this is,
That's a
if you would
fairly
like me
unusual
to
request.
elaborate, I'd be
It's a
happy.
nebulous request.
Yeah, before we make a motion, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just one this year?
Just.
So we both don't have to go.
And it's not yours.
Not a good sign.
Just like to mention that this is a youngster who had some living arrangements with a family situation that we would like to allow this individual to receive a Canfield diploma, which he truly, desperately wants to have happen.
Okay, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, I ask for a motion to approve the request for a student to complete his senior year with us at Canfield High School. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second. Questions, additional questions or comments? Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Bova?
Yes.
Mr. Frye?
Yes.
Mr. Kessler?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend the change of the November Board of Education meeting to Monday, November 19 at 6:30. We are having several of our board members and central office staff going to OSBA conference, school boards, the previous week that we would have the board meeting. We'd like to move it to the following Monday.
I won't do it the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
It was recommended that we might want to move it to the Monday.
Without regard to Mr. Bova's comment.
I cook.
Yeah, okay. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, he would like us to adjust our November meeting to Monday, November 19th. May I have a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Additional questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bova?
Yes.
Mr. Frye?
Yes.
Mr. Kessler?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
And the final item on the agenda for today, we'd like to accept the donations as per the enclosed list.
Would you mind reading it?
I can if you'd like.
Or not.
Okay. If you would like. me to,
Historically, we have done that, but it's not necessary.
We'd just like to present it as it is, if possible.
Great suggestion. We're going to move with that, okay? All right, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, we have donations totaling $8,271.46. May I have a motion to accept those donations, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Bova?
Yes.
Mr. Frye?
Yes.
Mr. Kessler?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes. Mr. Archer.
Just want to take a couple minutes, a couple items. First of all, I want to point out that next week is National School Bus Safety Week. It's October 22nd through the 26th. This year's theme is, I see the driver sees me. And again, emphasizing to our students that crossing that street, moving onto that bus is a critical time in our transportation safely of our students. Greatest risk, of course, for our children is when they are outside that bus. Now, there will be a little quiz here. According to national studies, school buses are the safest method in transporting students. How much safer do you think they are than an automobile? Anyone want to guess?
You're asking for percentages?
Times. How many times safer are they? 22 times safer than riding in an automobile. So it is the safest mode of transportation, and we need the help of the community members to make sure that they're watching for these stopped buses. Almost every day on our radios, Alex and I will hear a driver say, a car just flew through my sign. So it's important for us to try to get this message out to our community. One last thing, we are looking at purchasing a few products and services through what they call a reverse auction. Reverse auctions have been around for 30-some years, been used by many large corporations and companies. And we're looking at possibly looking at fuel. We spend about $143,000 a year in fuel. It's possible that we could save about 10 to 14% through a reverse auction, and possibly getting some bidders to come in and lower our cost of fuel that we purchase for our school buses. That's one item we want to look at. The others are a couple services. Trash service, now we have it with Allied Waste, and uniforms, mops, and linens that the cafeterias would use. We have that with Centos now. We might be able to put that on a reverse auction. Now, the way that reverse auction works is, I'm looking at a company called eBridge Global. They help you refine your specs for the item. They go out to vendors that they have in their list and any local vendors that you may want to have on the list. They will actually train the vendors in the protocol and the procedures of this, and then they hold the 30-minute reverse auction. And then they give us a tabulation of the results. There is no cost to us for this. There is no obligation, and it does meet the state's bidding requirements. It's all done online. In that 30 minutes, they pull all these vendors in, and the vendors can put their price in for the specs that you have put in there. And when it gets down to the last 3 minutes of the reverse auction, it really gets going. And if you want to go to that site, if you go to ebridgeglobal.com, you can actually see a simulation of a actual reverse auction. But in the last 3 minutes, the bidder can make a bid, and we see this. We see all the bids and the exact position that this particular company might be in that's bidding. And in the last 3 minutes, let's say that Lee would make a bid, the time starts over again, and they'd get 3 more minutes in order to let, say, Phil make a bid. If Phil makes a bid, the time sets back again to 3 minutes, until finally there are no more bids and the 3 minutes is over, and hopefully you have gained a pretty good price. Some of the districts around our community have done this, and they've been able to save 10 to 14%. And some in these services even more, up to 25 to 30% in what they were actually paying out before. So we're excited. I want to try it with fuel, and I want to see how we can do, because fuel is a pretty large purchase for us. Brian?
No, I mean, I think we talked about before about the vendors pay eBridge, or eGlobal, right?
They pay a fee to the company who is doing the reverse auction.
So there's no out-of-pocket cost for us.
Yeah. No cost to us. Now, some people will say a company will not get in on this reverse auction, but statistics show that more than 90% of the companies still participate, even though they say, well, wait a minute, I'm not sure I want to participate, and this is going to cost you more because now we're paying eBridge to do it. That's not how it really filters out, according to what we've read and what we've seen.
A question, especially regarding fuel. I went down to Springfield, Ohio to pick up my son Friday, paid $3.69 a gallon here. At Delaware, which is a place I always stop because I know they're pretty good, they were $3.65. I took him back yesterday, we were $3.69, Delaware was now $3.42, that same station. With these fluctuations, if you get somebody to come in for a bid, are you bidding it for the year? Do they adjust the fluctuations as the market goes up or down? Or
what they usually do on the price of fuel is they take the index, and I can't remember now exactly what that index is called, but they'll take that index and they'll say, you're going to pay at that index level, and that's what fluctuates. But what they're bidding for is their margin. Instead of, because you can't, that fluctuation is always going to be there. But their margin is what they're bidding at, and you're trying to get that lowest margin that's tacked on to that index that is there. Every day on my computer, I get 3 companies that send me the cost of fuel on that particular day. And just to give you an idea, over the last 3 months, we've paid, in July, we paid $3.24 per gallon. Now, we get about 7,000 gallons in a shot. We have an 8,000-gallon underground tank. And then the next month, not the next month, but it was August, it was September, we purchased for the same price. And then it went up, I just made a purchase, it went up to $3.62 a gallon. So you can see it does fluctuate. Last year, our average cost of fuel was about $3.42 per gallon. So you can get an idea there where we're going.
Again, one other question. I know that we are notoriously higher in this part of the state than other parts of the state. Do you, is that taken into consideration, or does this E-Bridge, if somebody wants to come out of Columbus and bid or something?
They can look at national, they can look at regional, they can look at local. You help them set up what you want. If you want to just do it with your local people, they'll do it with your local people. Or they'll expand it as far as they can possibly expand it. But they've got lists of vendors for products, and they will go to those vendors and say, here's the specs. This is when we're having the reverse auction. Are you interested? It's amazing to watch how quickly this 30 minutes goes and how quickly the last 3 minutes and the activity that goes on in that last segment. It's pretty interesting.
Thank you.
We'll give it a shot.
Those prices you're quoting, is that diesel or is that regular?
Say it again.
The prices you were quoting, that's diesel?
That's diesel, but in reality, our unleaded was almost the exact same amount.
That's a pretty good price for diesel.
It is a good price for diesel. But remember, we're buying 7,000 gallons at a time, and we're buying it at a tanker load rather than at a pump.
Right.
There's no tax either, so it's almost 50 cents a gallon tax on fuel.
What do you mean there's no tax? You said $3.64 that's the price we're paying.
That's the price we're paying, but Phil, I'm not sure I heard your comment, but we're not
You said
paying...
there's no tax?
We're not paying tax on that.
There's 50 cents a gallon tax
That's
on every gallon of fuel that you buy.
So when you say $3.64, we're paying $3.14.
We're paying $3.64, the last amount that we had, the last shipment that we had.
We file for a refund on the taxes. We have to pay them up front now.
Oh, you get
A long time ago,
refunded.
you didn't
Okay.
used to have to pay at all.
All right, that helps. Mr. Moldeman?
Am I allowed to ask a question?
No, but go ahead.
Mr. Rich, just for my knowledge, we're in consortiums for a lot of issues. Are there fuel consortiums? Like, do schools in Mahoning County or whatever get together in a consortium to buy those types of things?
We've had meetings that we tried to talk about pooling and shared services. We've not really been able to get that off the ground. So instead, I'm looking at another alternative to try to save us some dollars. I did have some conversation with a couple districts after I've talked to E-Bridge. They may be able to put even more of this together with a small consortium of maybe 2 or 3 schools. I don't know if it's going to get us that much better of a deal on fuel. But on trash services, they say you can save 25 to 30% in this type of an option. And although we only spend about $20,000 a year on trash, still, if you can save 25%, you're saving some money.
You know, in the business world, I've always found that even if you're going to a single supplier, if they think they're competing with somebody else, they tend to be more aggressive. And I just found out I switched trash suppliers, and amazingly, my trash for the last 3 years has been going up quite a bit. And when they found out I was switching, they were willing to match the lower prices.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Most folks treat trash like an utility. Oh, how much? And then write the check, and that's the end of it, because we do.
But there's room for those people to come down, and we've seen that.
Is healthcare the only consortium generally that schools, districts that use?
I wouldn't say that. There's a group up in Cleveland, and Alex saw a presentation on that today. That is really a big consortium. They do a lot of things in consortium.
Yeah, Ohio Schools Council is a consortium with many different. You can get in a consortium for purchasing buses, for GPS systems, for fuel, for natural gas, or whatever it might be. If you can think of the consortium where the purchasing is, there's probably one out there.
And we've looked at joining that consortium, but in a number of products, we've been able to find vendors who would give us a good price without going to a group like that, a better price than we've had. And mostly that's been in paper products.
I think we've made comments before about thinking outside the box, and I appreciate your efforts on that. Mr. Jordan?
I'd just like to highlight, if Mr. Archer's finished with his, just like to highlight a couple other things that are going on in the district. We talk about drug addiction and those type of things, communication with safety forces. We're going to enlarge that a little bit more with the crisis response team that's going to be meeting tomorrow evening, how we're going to manage whatever events that might face this district. And we need to continue to look at that and make sure that we're prepared for whatever events that might present itself. So we have a committee together there. There is going to be a school funding forum that's at the end of the month, October 29th. It's a Monday. It's going to be at Austintown Middle School cafeteria at 6:30. This is sponsored by the League of Women Voters. And I want to stress this up front. Our participation in this is definitely going to be offering information. And it is not going to be political. We are not going to get into a situation where we're going to try to make a political stance. And right away when we talk about this time of year, it's hard not to think that way. But when we talk about school funding, we want to make sure that people are aware where youngsters are going and where the funding is going with them. There's a possibility, and I'll say it now, and it's okay to, we can talk about it later on, but the governor's budget, it is going to be presented in the budget. Very good opportunity this is going to happen, where open enrollment youngsters or youngsters that attend other institutions other than Canfield schools, not only the state foundation money is going to be following those youngsters, but it's going to be local tax dollars going with them. So for instance, and I'll use Western Reserve for an example. If a youngster is attending Western Reserve instead of Canfield schools, it's not 57 plus 100 going with that youngster. It's going to be the over 8,000 that we educate each of our youngsters here at Canfield. So local tax dollars funded by our local people will follow that youngster. Now, it might affect us, that 3,000 per youngster that goes away, but there are districts not too far from here that cost over 10,000 to educate a youngster. Those districts that have that situation, all 10,000 will follow that youngster wherever they attend. That is being discussed, more than likely be in the next budget. People have to understand that when we talk to our legislators. And first thing out of my mouth, I told you I didn't want to be political, and here I am getting political with you. But it's reality. That's what's happening.
Can we clarify one thing also? I think most of the people in this room know this, but when you said that 8,000 follows the student, and you made a comment that we get 3,000 from the state, the 5,000 comes out of our pockets to follow the student. Which is all the local.
Whatever we educate the youngster with here in-house, yes. Foundation money and local tax dollars will go. It is a proposal. It's being discussed, and there's a good chance it's going to be in the next budget.
I'd love to be at that superintendent's meeting when that happens and everybody goes open enrollment and starts fighting for the $10,000.
I'm not advocating for that at this time. But
I know, but it'd be an interesting meeting.
But
thank you.
So just wanted to highlight that. That's all.
Well, I'll give you the same opportunity I gave to the middle school folks. How's your transition? You've been here for August.
I don't even look at it at this point right now. It's
we have threatening phone calls. Or
we have a job to do, and we're more than happy to fulfill our requirements.
Fist fights?
No, we're having a great time every day. Still enjoy coming to work.
I will share one last thing that for your statistical enjoyment. If you ride with Phil, the school bus is 40 times safer. 40 times safer? You've got to ride with him and see. Where'd that come from? He said it was 22 times for the average driver, but I've been with you. Anything else to present to the board? I just, as a last comment, the high school soccer team is 30 minutes into their first half, playing Struthers in the first round of the tournament games going on at the high school. The boys will be playing Saturday up there, the high school boys, on 7. Yes, sir.
The girls volleyball team started at 6 o'clock.
Where are they? At Boardman. Okay, thank you. Okay, that said, unless there's nothing else, I would ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. All in favor? Can I do that one?
Yeah.
All in favor? Signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here.
Go drive just till 15 minutes. Thank you. Good luck.